Good afternoon, greater Philadelphia area. This is Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. He's Tim Sees. We both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we have got a ton of stuff to cover here today. There have been people losing their mind over this 50-year mortgage proposal. We're going to get into what it actually means, what Bill Pulte said, member of the federal cabinet, the industry debate, and what it means for consumers. And then we've got some local information as well. Temple is taking over a key building from the University of Arts. There's another proposed tax boost in Delaware County. And we've also got some questionable plans about Market East and a celebrity restaurant opening at the Valley Forge Casino. We'll break it all down next. If you get some value out of this, or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with our team, you can do that with the link in the comments and talk to Tim directly. He's an absolute pro, and he can help you with whatever you need. So, Tim, this 50-year mortgage proposal. So let me just break it down for everybody first. And I know you got some feelings on this. So this came out the end of last week. On Saturday, President Trump posted an image on social that suggested he was going to be proposing a 50-year mortgage that FHFA Director Bill Pulte, so the Federal Housing and Funding Administration, confirmed this on X, and it was posted on Truth Social, and it was a headshot of FDR. If you don't know who that is, it's Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Some people know who that is.
You would hope, but I think you got to qualify sometimes, Tim. I mean, I don't know. It's why what people know and don't know. And, the short of it was that thanks to President Trump, we are indeed working on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. Before we get into the reaction and everything else, what do you think about this 50-year mortgages?
I mean, it's just going to be more expensive in the long run. I mean, the average time that a person stays in their home anyway is like 7 to 10 years on average. So having that elongated is, in my opinion, silly. And also another thing, it realistically is only saving you and consumers a couple of $100 a month on their mortgage payment anyway, which is fine for sure. We definitely want to do things to make things more affordable, but I don't believe that this is a viable option for it. There would need to be a lot of things done in a legal sense, I believe, not a lawyer, but just kind of knowing some of the laws that are around there. You got to make some big changes for this to come to fruition. There's a lot of work that would need to happen for this to become a thing. But that's kind of where I stand.
So well said that you need a lot of work, because the reaction among consumers and real estate agents is like, this is a horrible idea. What are we doing here? And none of this is finalized yet.
Right.
This is just an idea that's been floated out there. And I'm going to get into what I see from the reaction here. You brought up a good point, Tim. You look at what it would cost, right? So a 30-year fix for a $300,000 loan at a 6.575% rate, principal and interest is $1,529. On the 30-year, it's $1,366. You're not even saving $200 a month.
Right.
And that's like a grocery bill.
Yeah.
Like that's really what, like a week's worth of groceries, I think for, a few people, that's probably what you're talking about. A couple tanks of gas a month. That's what and I'm not saying that's insignificant.
Right.
You get to a $500,000 loan. It goes from $2,548, and that's just principal and interest, to $2,277 with the 50 years. So you're talking about, maybe $300 there, not even. So it's not a huge savings, and I think that's probably the most important thing here. And this, we've heard rumors of this before. And to give some perspective, the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Consumer Protection Act was passed after the great financial crisis, which made underwriting a lot stricter. And I think there would have to be some changes in these laws, to your point. So the reaction we're getting from people, I mean, it's just the industry is kind of going all over the place here. And then Bill Pulte posted on X, and Logan Mohtashami was talking about this. We hear you. We are laser focused on, this is Bill Pulte's tweet on November the 9th. This was Sunday at 10:04 a.m. We are laser focused on ensuring the American dream for young people, and that can only happen on the economic level of home buying. A 50-year mortgage is simply a potential weapon in a wide arsenal solutions that we are developing right now. Stay tuned. So I think you kind of heard the feedback from a lot of the backlash here.
Yeah.
There was like 3,800 replies on this.
It was a big talking topic.
Especially over the weekend, which I found very interesting, where it's like usually this stuff doesn't pop off over the weekend. So do you think they actually do this? I guess is my first question.
I don't. I honestly think this was the administration maybe putting out feelers because that I think this is just kind of where they need to get a reaction from the public of like, is this viable? Certainly people much smarter than I am can go deep into, all the logistics and certain things like that. But I really think it was just them kind of putting out feelers for, what the public will say in their journey of trying to make things more affordable just in general. And realistically, the thing that's going to make things more affordable in the short run is going to be rates.
I agree there that a rate can have a lot bigger impact. And I think that's really smart. And if you look at the concerns I would have with this, anything because of the Dodd-Frank Act, the maximum loan term for a qualified mortgage is 30 years. So anything over that's considered a non-QM loan and would not have the same government guarantee of coverage, right? So I think that's concern number one. Now, they changed the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act. I don't really know. As long as that's in place, that's what we're dealing with. And non-QM loans usually come with a higher rate and stricter underwriting. So I don't know how this is viable. And, this current administration, they do have a track record of putting things out in the media to get what they want done. You look at the tariff and the trade war, that didn't have the impact anybody thought. Everyone thought inflation was going to go up and all these things were going to happen, but they put that out there to negotiate stuff. And maybe that's what they're trying to do here. I'm not really sure. What do you think about that?
I mean, it's definitely a possibility, I think. I mean, their ultimate goal, their mission, I think, was to just make everything a bit more affordable anyway with the inflation that we've had in the past anyway. So I don't know. We'll definitely see what happens. I'm of the belief that we're not going to see a 50-year mortgage, but I could be wrong.
So let's say we do see a 50-year mortgage. I'm clear there could be a major problem with that because you look at what happened when rates, they took the federal funds rate to zero back in like 2020 and then mortgage rates dropped. And that's when prices went up like 10% year over year. They were going up 1% a month. And some of the 30-year fixed products available, they're subsidized in this, and it increased home values. And, that caused some of the inflation that we've seen with these numbers. So if that happens, the run on the market would be insane. Right or wrong, I think a lot of people would enter the market who aren't even out there right now.
Right. Well, I mean, that's seeing that they have 50 years to pay off a loan. It could be like music to somebody's ears. I mean, it is a little bit more affordable for sure if you're, counting that amount. I'm not saying that it's an insignificant amount, but I don't know. It could be. You'll see prices drive up if you have that happen. If you get the run on the market from that, so I think it's a lose-lose. That's just my opinion.
Well, you're not the only one. So Representative Taylor Greene, so this is one of they're one of the Trump allies in Washington. She pushed back in writing on X and said, "I don't like 50-year mortgages as a solution to the housing affordability crisis. It will ultimately reward banks, mortgage lenders, and home builders while people pay far more in interest over time and die before they ever pay off their home. In debt forever." And she goes on here to say, in debt for life. Instead, stop companies and asset managers from buying up single-family homes. We know that's not happening at scale.
Right.
Let people with good rent history qualify for mortgage. And then they went on, no capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home. That's a bill she put together, which I think there is something there to that to incentivize home sellers to go to the market, especially with these gains that we've seen. So obviously this isn't something that everyone's supporting here. What do you think about this bill? No capital gains tax on the sale of your primary home.
I think that's great. I mean, definitely more money in the consumers' pockets from that. I mean, we're getting taxed left and right in a whole bunch of different areas. So one, easing of that would be an awesome thing to see. Hopefully we can get that done. That would definitely help out a lot of folks. And just gives people some more opportunity to get into something larger. Just give people more opportunity in general, I think.
And I think that's all these things are incentivizing buyers.
Right.
There's no incentives for sellers right now.
Yeah.
Like that, like in 2008 when they passed that first-time buyer tax credit. So you're probably not familiar with this.
I
So
was 8 years old.
that's okay. Congratulations. You didn't have to go through that. It was a tough time to sell real estate.
I'm sure.
So they were giving an $8,000 tax credit to any first-time buyer, and people were saying, "Hey, I want some of Obama's money," calling like the office and literally saying that.
Wow.
And I mean, that's because it was a tax credit. So I mean, you're buying a $200,000-$300,000 home now. That time there's a lot of homes on the market. It was a lot different. Like that made sense. Right now we need more sellers. Don't need more buyers. That's not the problem.
Yeah.
So investor Graham Stephen echoed the same sentiment. A 50-year mortgage would let you buy 10% more home, but at the expense of nearly doubling your payment schedule. There's no way that ends well. Another investor, John Pompliano, the 30-year mortgage is one of the best financial products available to Americans. 50 years is even better. So, I mean, there's a lot. There's people on both sides of this here. And you could go back and forth. Mike Simonson from Altos Research, he put together a chart. This is pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. So he, and I'll see if Nick can maybe put this up on the post edit. So he showed that a 30-year fixed at 6.3%, it's $2,112 is the principal and interest. So the 50-year at 6.8% would give $116 of savings. The 50-year at 7%, there's even less savings. And the 50-year at 7.25, there's no savings. Actually going to cost you more. And you talk about these non-QM loans, those are kind of where those rates come in on non-QM loans. You see high 6-7%. So, that's a really good way to look at that. I mean, you take off the real estate hat, look at the financial planning hat, Tim. I mean, what do you think about this breakdown here?
I mean, if that's only saving me maybe $100, and then a 50-year at the non-QM rate, I mean, it doesn't make financial sense to me personally.
It doesn't make sense to me either. I mean, and see, then you get Dave Ramsey chiming in, right? Mr. Don't even take out a 30-year loan, which I don't know that that's realistic. So here's what he said. Look at the interest you pay on the 50-year. It's astronomical. Now you're not going to stay in the same home for 50 years. I get that, but you're essentially renting from the bank at that point, which I would argue you're already doing. I don't think that's a fair comment. The bank gets to collect more fees. You slow down that equity growth. That's very real.
That's true.
Especially when you look at the amortization schedule. Once you get past like 5, 6, 7 years, you really start to chunk down equity every month.
Absolutely.
The 50-year mortgage doesn't solve the problem. It'll only extend this unaffordability that we talk about. You saw a lot of backlash on this, and I think for the right reasons. The real estate community understands what would happen. The more you step in as a government and try to inflict your will on the free market, the more you inflate prices. So I think I don't always agree with Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
I've heard some insane things about his company. You can look him up, just Google him.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good take on that.
Well, I do agree. Like, you're definitely paying more on interest, too. And if you're the type of person that's like, I want to pay this off as soon as possible, that's definitely not going to be, the one for you, which he definitely falls into that category for sure, if you know who he is. I really think that this whole thing was a conversation starter. I think if we can maybe find something in the middle or take a chunk of one thing and another thing and make something better so that we can make it more affordable for everybody, I think that's a win-win for the entire nation. But I mean, at this point, like I said, I really think it's just people feeling things out and trying to start a conversation.
That's a great level-headed take, Tim. That's one of the reasons, many reasons, I like working with you and appreciate the friendship and all that stuff. And when you look at a conversation starter like this, sometimes you got to see what public opinion is going to be like before you do anything. I'm a big believer, instead of guessing what people want, see how they react, and then you can determine what to do. And you're absolutely right. The idea right now is just that. It's a proposal.
Yep.
Whether it becomes reality or not, it would require sweeping legislative and regulatory changes. And the conversation it sparked, I think, shows how desperate people are for some relief and how closely the real estate community, at least the competent people in it, are watching for any shift in lending. And, the fact that the government's even looking at this as a potential option for the affordability issues that we faced with housing tells me that nobody has any idea how to fix this.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, most of the people that are running for government and are in government, they may not even know, the entire process behind everything. They're not loan officers. They're not real estate agents. Maybe some of them are, I don't know. But I feel like it's it's not in their wheelhouse maybe, but I do think that it's good to have that conversation because it is really tough for affordability just across the nation.
So it sounds like we're in agreement here that no one really knows what they're doing. It was a conversation starter. I love that. I love that observation on your part. For sellers right now, what this tells me is if you're thinking about selling and you're in some of these markets like we are here in the greater Philadelphia area, you're in pole position to take advantage, especially if you have another home to go to.
Oh, yeah.
I think that is the ideal spot to be in the market. What about buyers, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of buyers that are probably feeling this. Obviously, that this affordability crunch is still here. What advice do you have for people that are struggling with affordability or they don't know what to do and they feel like the market's working against them? Because that is the mindset that's out there. I mean, we role play this stuff all the time. What do you advise people that maybe feel a little stuck right now in the market, Tim?
Well, definitely, take a look at your options, get connected with, your real estate professional in your area and really sit down with them and talk about, what can we do at this point in time to maybe take some advantages? Like, for example, a great time of year right now for buyers in the sense that a lot of homes are sitting on the market for a long time. So you could maybe, negotiate pricing down if it's been sitting for a while. You could probably get better terms as opposed to waiting for the spring where you'll 100%, as it happens most likely every year, that you'll get a ton more competition. Pricing is definitely going to go up just based off of how it's been for, decades. So I think the thing to do is just sit down at this point and strategize what's going to be best for that particular person and their particular household and make the, decision from there.
The fact that you're talking about seeing what options are out there are way more financing options available than people realize. The stat that we were talking about last week with the Sutera team from Cross Country Mortgage is that 61% of Americans think you need 20% to put down to buy a home right now. So that's a miss by real estate agents.
Yeah.
That's a miss by lenders. I put it more on the real estate agents because usually the agent's the first call. The lenders kind of come in.
Person.
I mean, that's usually they're causing the matter. They're responsible for everything, right?
Yeah.
It's always our fault. So the fact that people don't know that and you're feeling a little frustrated, I would look into what your options are right now because there's things like buy downs. You can put lower down payments. Maybe you've got some gift money coming. I mean, there's options that are out there. And if your strategy is to wait for something to happen, you might be waiting for a long time, especially in the Northeast.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the inventory in and of itself is low. There's a lot of older homes. There's not really too much space to build newer ones. And when they are being built, it's not really in a price range for a lot of people.
The average new construction sale price in the suburban counties ranges between $800 and $1.2 million. And sometimes that's a townhome. So
that's bonkers.
And I mean, we don't even have a lot of, you really have to go to a more rural location to buy new construction for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
Or in Philadelphia, somewhere a little bit more transitional, like some of these neighborhoods that are getting developed right now, which is, you're kind of chasing the home or you're chasing the location.
Right.
And to me, as a buyer, I'd recommend chasing the location. I think that's the safer way to be. So with sellers, right? So you got a number of sellers you're working with right now. What's the conversation like around affordability and the market now for sellers? Because obviously someone's coming out that runs our country talking about a 50-year loan. There's an issue here. There may be an opportunity for some folks. What are you seeing in the market when it comes to sellers?
A lot of the sellers that I'm working with are kind of, it's the reverse of the buyer market. We're getting to that slower time of year. Things are kind of sitting for a bit longer. You got to have those tough conversations of, maybe we need to make an adjustment. If an offer does come in and they don't really like it, there's kind of some pull for the buyer that they have, and we may want to take that. Or, you also run the risk of the carrying costs if you go into the new year. So that's a lot of the things that I'm seeing right there. I don't know. I don't know how the 50-year mortgage would affect them in that regard in the immediacy. But I mean, you can give me some more insight on that of what your thoughts are.
Well, if the 50-year mortgage did get passed, I would imagine you're going to see even more demand. I mean, that there's going to be even more of a fever pitch to get these homes, and which could be good, but then they got to go. If these people have to go buy something, that doesn't really help you. So the market's getting healthy locally, as far as I can tell. If you look at the Philadelphia metro area through the month of October, we saw a 12.5% gain in inventory. It's still 2.38 months of supply, so not that much more.
Yeah,
right.
better than it was.
It's better than it was this time last year. Last year we were at 2.19. So, 12.5% a significant bump. If you're looking at the number of closed sales, and I mean, we're up 1.2% compared to last year. We've seen pending sales are up 0.5%. So, I mean, the market's pretty much flat. So, if you've got a place to go or you're not buying another home, this may be the opportunity to sell high. And that's really what I'm seeing, because inventory is going to continue to grow. And I think the question is, there's such a big group of the population that's just locked out of the market entirely.
Right.
Like, they're not even in the conversation, especially, millennials and Gen Z. I mean, they're really kind of just trying to figure out what the heck to do right now.
I'm starting to have that conversation with my fiance now. I mean, we definitely would prefer to, get into an ownership position rather than rent. But I mean, with the way the prices are, it's out of the question for us currently. I mean, in a couple of years, the plan is to move forward with that. But as of right now, something would definitely need to happen before we make the move.
Well, I see what you're doing is what a lot of people don't do, where you're planning ahead. And I'm not talking like a few months ahead. I'm talking about years ahead, right? And I think that is really smart. And for all the people that are on the fence right now, or you're maybe nervous about affordability, the more you plan, the better off you are. Savings trends in the U.S. Let me look this up here, because this is a frightening number, Tim, when you look at this here.
Well, you're going from, a lot of people are on, have to have, a lot of credit cards and things like that. They're putting things on credit. So then you have a constant payment on a couple of different things. It could be credit cards, it could be car payment, it could be, a different number of things. So it's not as, not a lot of people are saving as much as maybe they should be.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's one of the problems, is that we're in a consumption society right now, where you look at, just to give the personal savings rate at a household level, and that's the share of disposable after-tax income that households save rather than spend. For over the summer, it trended anywhere from 4.6 to 5%. That's according to the Bureau of Economic Analysis.
Wow.
And when you look at and go back to 1959, it was 11.3%. Okay, so that's less than half. From the 80s onward, the rate gradually declined. For the 90s and early 2000s, it was typically in the 7 to 10% range. And then, it dropped to a very low point in 2005, and that was right before the financial crisis. So I don't think that's that makes a lot of sense there. So you're seeing that savings is not prioritized for people. And anecdotally, you see folks in those generations, millennials and Gen Z, they talk about, I want to have experiences.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, you probably know better than me, because you're in that generation, in those group of people.
You see it all over the place on social media, where it's just like, oh my gosh, you'll never guess where I went to, and you see pictures of people like, overseas, which is awesome. I mean, definitely, if you can make that happen, have those experiences. I'm not saying don't do that, but I mean, if you're going to financially plan your life out in a strategic way, like if you want to have a home ownership, maybe delaying those big trips until you have, a solid, goose egg for a down payment, and then you're into a home, that might be a more wise decision for some folks, especially in my generation. But a lot of people in my generation also are like, home ownership is unattainable. It's really tough. We're stuck in a spot where, most millennials now are probably like, man, with the average age of a home buyer is what, close to 40 years old.
It was 40 years old was the median, 38's the average. So, but I mean, that was up from 33 years old just 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that in and of itself is crazy. So think of somebody who's 21, 22, 23 years old, just getting into the the workforce, definitely want to make homeownership a possibility at some point. They've still got a ways to go. If that's the median and the average.
Well, and I think that's the reality here, is that you've got these. I think it goes. It's a little bit of both. I mean, that you have some people that are prioritizing experience and lifestyle over savings, and you also have unattainability. And I think it's kind of the storm that's created that jump. I mean, a 5-year jump a 5-year jump in 5 years. It went from 33 to 38. It's pretty substantial.
Absolutely.
And think about the difference between a 38-year-old and a 33-year-old. I'd also say it's very not all the time, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got
people are more likely to have kids and be married and settle down. 33, maybe not, right? So there's some lifestyle changes that I don't think people talk about enough. That's part of the reason why you're hearing about this 50-year mortgage. But until there's a viable solution, nobody knows what to do here.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why situations like this may happen where it's just like, all right, well, let's see what everyone thinks.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know what? It's better to do that than come up with a policy without getting any input.
Agreed.
So,
yeah.
But remember, it's just a proposal.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things would have to change. And I'd imagine, like seller incentives, I think are great. Local zoning code changes would be a big plus. But they're, these townships do not do that. I mean, you look at we just came off an election, right? And it's all local people that are getting elected.
Mm-hmm.
Same people that were elected before. There's no change happening at the local level. And that's probably the biggest problem is that, and local politics are easily the most corrupt. Yeah, easily
I would
the most corrupt.
Sure.
Well, you can get away with it, right? Like, I mean, these higher up officials, they're in the spotlight all the time. Most people don't even know who's running their township or their town.
That's so real, yeah.
So
I couldn't even tell you mine to be so.
Well, and that's fine. I mean, and at least you're honest about it. But I mean, that's the reality. So don't get stressed about the 50-year mortgage. It's just a proposal right now. It does highlight the affordability issue, and until there's a better solution, I mean, you're going to hear ideas like this get floated out there. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We've got a lot of local news to hit on here. Temple opening a Center City campus, another tax increase in Delaware County, Market East plans not looking good, shocking. And we got another celebrity restaurant getting opened here in and the light show. We're going to talk about that as well.
The light show.
We'll be right back on Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. All right. Welcome back to Tool Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM. I'm Tom Toole. He's Tim Sees. We both work at the Tom Toole Sales Group at RE/MAX Mainline, the number one RE/MAX team in Pennsylvania since 2018. And we have got a ton of local information here. We're going to start off with what's going on in Delaware County in a second. Temple is opening a Center City campus. I'm very happy to hear that. Market East plans are not looking good. Shocker.
Yeah.
We got a celebrity restaurant opening and the light show. I feel like we got to get the PSA out about this, but let's start with Delaware County. So if you get some value out of this or you like what you hear, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications. And if you want to schedule a call with our team, you can do that with the link in the comments. So Delaware County, they did this last year. The Delaware County Executive Director Barbara O'Malley has asked the Delaware County Council to raise Delaware County taxes by 19% in 2026. If approved, that would take effect in January, and it would follow a 23% rise that took place in 2025. Apparently, the Executive Director of Delaware County, Barbara O'Malley, presented a $340 or $340 million. $340. That'd be yeah. Phew, yes. It's horrible. Big mistake there. $340 million draft budget to the council on Friday, and this would increase overall county spending by just under 6%. The revenue enhancement is required to close the gap and maintain our reserves at the minimum standards. We recognize these are challenging economic times for our residents and do not make a tax enhancement recommendation lightly, according to O'Malley. The county faced increased court system costs, employee health benefits, increases in the county's SEPTA contribution, and employee pay. And here's what it actually translates to. It's $185 annually for the average Delaware County homeowner. So not a huge number, but that's the average.
On average, yeah.
And this is going to get introduced. Now, the council's going to introduce their own budget on the 3rd. They're going to vote on December 10th. And the council has the option of rejecting all or parts of the executive director's recommendations. And there's a budget task force that included citizen input. They're going to present council recommendations. They presented them apparently last night. So, Tim, what do you think about this? Second year in a row, we just talked about local politics here. This is not, I mean, a 19% increase, nothing to shake a stick at. That's a big
No
number.
way. We just talked about affordability too. I mean, an extra $185 on average, some people are definitely, much north of that of just, where they are in Delaware County for sure. But I mean, I personally don't like it. I mean, we talk about affordability. This is certainly not, giving more people money in their pockets for sure. Uh, it's tough to see after coming off of a 23% raise last year.
Well, I think the challenge here is that, I mean, why are these budgets getting passed where you have to make these 20+% increases? I mean, okay, 19 or whatever. These are big numbers. I mean, they're substantial numbers that are getting increased, and that's what I'm most worried about here. It's not the. I mean, is this going to happen again next year?
Well, right. I mean, if it's a yearly thing, this is really not good. I mean, we're really squeezing a barrel there. It's tough. I really feel for folks. That's not. I don't know. I don't think it's good.
Well, and last year when this happened, there was a lot of community uproar. And you look at how this goes. So there's the Delaware County Council, and that's a group of, let's see here, I think it's 5 people that are on the Delaware County Council. And we asked a couple of them to come on. They're reading the proposal right now, so we'll see if they it happens or not. And these people all just got reelected. So that's who the community's relying on here. And this council apparently replaced like a 3-member board of county commissioners back in 1976. So it's meant to be a little more diverse. But this is a big number, and I think it's very evident of how poorly run local governments are, because you have a lot of local governments around here that have budget issues, right? I mean, SEPTA almost got stopped.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you've got Philadelphia has all kinds of problems here. I mean, you look at just what's going on locally on so many levels. It's really unfortunate what's happening, and I don't think this is going to change anytime soon.
No, I definitely agree with you. That it just goes back to affordability. I mean, we could be putting money to much better things. I think of like we talked about earlier, seller incentives or incentives for folks to have a little bit easier time on that side of the transaction. You could be doing a number of different things other than raising taxes for who knows what.
Well, and I think that's they probably got a lot of pushback last night at the meeting. I haven't heard any notes from that. So, and I mean, especially when it's 2 years in a row, and then you've got, I mean, you have all these problems happening where you don't have enough hospital coverage in Delaware County now because of the Taylor Hospital that closed and everything else, and so it becomes frustrating when they come to the owners and the property owners specifically, or the residents of the county, to come up and say, hey, we need you to increase this. So it is frustrating for sure.
Even if they say, they run on one thing on their campaign and then do a different thing, it's just unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. And so, and I think it's going to get passed, by the way. I think they're going to go through with this.
You need a lot of folks to kind of come out and say, hey, we got to be doing better.
Well, and that's where these local elections get really frustrating, because we joked around like you don't know who your local people are, right? This happens every year with school boards. Not every year. Every year there's not like a big election coming up. Right, so we just went through this in November. School boards, local representatives, county commissioners, county councils, whatever it is. And you look at the feedback here. With taxes continuing to go up, the carrying costs go up. So you talk about affordability. And there's a lot of stuff you need to kind of be aware of here with this. So it's I'd love to know where the money's going. I mean, I think that's the hard part, is like, I'm sure you get to see these budgets. I think a lot of people
would like to see where it's being put towards.
I mean, they're talking about structural defects, capital investment, infrastructure, cost of mandated services. It seems like a lot of like politics speak is just what what I'm seeing. So now I haven't gone through the budget or anything like that, so it's unfortunate. So with that in mind, I mean, we'll kind of see. We'll follow this story closely. Hopefully, we can get some people from the Delaware County Council on the show here. Speaking of local governments, we got another miss happening at Market East. I used to live not far from here.
Oh yeah.
So the Sixers, no more 76th place, right? They're going back down to South Philly, which I thought it would have been great to have that arena downtown. I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
And after the city kind of agreed and they lobbied to build it for $1.3 billion. So there was all these commitments made to Market East. And there was a quote here from some at the press conference after we all got over the shock and awe of what was not going to happen in Market East. I shifted into my eternally optimistic view about how we're going to be able to move things forward, according to the mayor of Philadelphia, Sherrell Parker. Then there was the Market East Corridor Planning and Advisory Commission led by Brandywine Realty Trust CEO Jerry Sweeney. We're talking about a redevelopment plan. This is like the fourth time I've heard this is going to happen. Yeah. And Market East is such a cool, like, you got City Hall there. There's all this cool stuff, and there's like nothing though. But it's like there's nothing. Like, it's cool to walk down the street there.
Yeah,
that's about it. I mean, it's and I think it gets very frustrating for a lot of people. And there's now going to be some demolition plans. And it was a Friday press conference that a lot of neighborhood advocates said they have little faith that the city's going to follow through on its promises. Shocker.
Yeah.
And there's no clear accountability measure for making sure the actual citizens of Philadelphia are heard in the process. And apparently the Sixers and Comcast Spectacor have plans to demolish several vacant buildings on the south side of Market between 9th and 10th before the end of the year. It's over half a block, including the former Reebok and Robinson department stores. And they want to redesign open space for the World Cup and the 250th anniversary. I mean, what do you think about this, Tim? I mean, I've got some opinions, but I want to get your feel for this lack of a plan over at Market East.
I mean, they're going back to what you said about not having accountability for what the people living in the city think. I think that's really important. I mean, people are living in there. They spend their whole lives down there, working, living, doing whatever it is. That should be at the forefront of the conversation of what do you, the people who are here all the time, think? I don't know. I mean, you could definitely do a couple of different things with the vacant buildings and things. It would be great to have a spruce up. And I think what a lot of this is a lot of pressure from that 250-year anniversary. Because there's a lot of, Philadelphia is going to be bonkers next year with all of the things that they're planning on doing. And if this is kind of shoved into the mix, all right, let's rush it and get it done, I don't think that that's going to be a smart thing to do. I think, taking the time and planning it out and not rushing is the best option, in my opinion.
Well, so that seems to be what the plan is. So Comcast Chief Legal Officer Thomas Reed said they're going to take these buildings they demo, and the empty space is going to be used for activities related to the World Cup when the international soccer tournament comes to the city in June. And there was no other details. Comcast already invested $60 million in the properties on Market and Market Street, and it's going to be a turbocharged engine for redevelopment. And there's no plans for the soon-to-be vacant lot. So I do agree that it's good not to just rush into something. Now, some people think that it's going to be a further blight to the neighborhood because it's going to make the situation worse with no real guarantees. And some people are even calling these demolitions a little impulsive. And they're asking why it took a year for Mayor Parker to convene the advisory group, and so the city should consider strategic reuse of the buildings slated to be torn down.
Well, right. If there's an affordability issue with people trying to get housing, I mean, that could be an option. If they're just planning on using some of the spaces solely for the World Cup, I mean, I think that's super silly. You could make that a long-term, plan if you really sat down and thought about it and had a real meeting of the minds, not kind of just, over lunch, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. I mean, really sit down there and think about it, because it is a great area. I mean, I'm sure in its prime, it was an awesome spot to kind of walk around and do things. But I don't know what to say.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. That there's so much opportunity there. Being that close to City Hall, being able to see City Hall when you're there, that goes a long way for a lot of people. And that area is losing another attraction this year with the Wanamaker building being sold. This is the last year for the light show. There's going to be a 2-year hiatus. Apparently, the light show is going to begin on November 28th, and then the building's going to be under construction for 2 years. Which I think it's have to happen. I mean, if you've ever been to that like Macy's in there, it was very weird.
Oh yeah, it was tough the way that it was laid out. But I mean, the light show, that's a Philadelphia staple.
Well, it is, and I think a lot of people are going to miss it. So there was concerns that it was going to be permanently discontinued, and organizers said the budget to install and put on free events is $600,000, which is much greater than originally expected. And there was 1,000 people that donated to a fundraising campaign, and because of that, the attractions were able to return at least for 2025. Beyond 2027, there's a question. People are trying to establish some long-term sustainability to that. And the Philadelphia Visitor Center is one of the many groups that are committed to preserving these sort of attractions. So there's going to be a 2-year hiatus. And, Philadelphia did approve zoning permits in July to build 600 apartments with retail spaces and rooftop decks in the Wanamaker building. And so, I mean, if you want to catch the 10-minute light show, which started in 1956. It's every hour on the half hour. It starts It starts on Black Friday. Catch it before the Eagles game.
Yes.
But I mean, I think if that's really important to you, I'd go there. So here's the hours. I think this is pretty important.
Yeah.
November 28th to December 11th, open Wednesday to Sunday from noon to 6. It's closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Extended organ concerts are at 12:45 and 4:45. December 12th to 23rd, open daily, noon to 8. Extended organ concerts every day, but Sundays at 12:45 and 4:45. And even on Christmas Eve, it's going to be open noon to 4. This is at the Wanamaker building. Last time you can see the light show for at least 2 years, and it's every hour on the half hour. So it's going to be constantly playing here. Highly recommend you go check this out if that's important to you.
Especially if you haven't seen it too. I mean, it's it's a light show, but it's really fun. It's a nice holiday thing to do. I remember going a ton of times when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I went a couple of years ago. It's just a fun holiday thing to do. It's a big staple in Philadelphia and has been for many years now. So, get it in while you can.
I agree. I mean, you don't know when these things are coming back, and I think that's it's something that you want to check out. You got little kids; it's 10 minutes long. They should be within their attention span, so that's great. And there's also the Dickens Village right outside. That's not too far from there along City Hall, which is cool as well. So a lot of good stuff down there for the holidays coming up. Obviously, Thanksgiving is going to be first. We don't skip that holiday here on Tool Time Real Estate Radio. So
it's my favorite holiday.
It's a lot of people's favorite holiday. Mine's 4th of July.
That's fair.
All right. So we got one more thing here, Tim, before we get into these listings. Sir Charles Barkley, is opening a steakhouse and cigar lounge at the Valley Forge Casino. It's a 6,800 square foot restaurant and cigar lounge in a casino tower. Apparently, Charles Barkley also has a liquor brand. I think every NBA player has a liquor brand right now.
Yes.
And the steakhouse, it's apparently going to be fun, comfortable, and full of personality, according to Sir Charles. And he wants it to be the kind of place where people can unwind, share a great meal, and feel the same kind of energy and connection that make the community so special. It's going to be a modern, elegant design featuring a lot of his memorabilia and nods to his career. Be great if he had like a meme of him throwing someone through a glass window like he did. That'd be incredible.
That would be great.
There's going to be a humidor cigar lounge. Is this going to want to make you go to the Valley Forge Casino? That's my first question.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely check it out. I feel like the Valley Forge Casino is not a place of frequent for a lot of people. It's kind of like you go to the mall for sure. That's a big staple, especially in the greater Philadelphia area. But not too many people know that they have a casino that's right there. So I think this could be a good opportunity for that for sure.
I like the idea of having a restaurant to go to there because gambling's not going to be for everybody.
Right.
There's it's part of a multi-million overhaul at the casino, which I think it could probably use. Which includes a remodel of the 261 hotel rooms in the Stardust Tower, and the 36,000 square foot gaming floor, and they have a ground floor tavern that's going to be an all-day dining concept. It's the first major renovation in 13 years after it was bought for $280.5 million in early 2018. I'm hoping the security is going to get a little better there, Tim. I don't know if you saw this. There was a 13-year-old that got caught gambling at the Valley Forge. I mean, unless this kid had like a full beard, which may be possible.
I don't know. The kids nowadays look a lot older than they did when I was growing up. I mean, some people in my high school class had full on facial hair.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's that, but I mean, you can't have that stuff happen, right?
Yes.
They got a $30,000 fine against the casino because he was on the gaming floor for 6 hours.
Oh man!
And gambled on slot machines. I think that's part of the problem is like these slot machines. I mean, they should be. I don't know.
6 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the social media too. I mean, that's in and of itself. It's exactly what it is: flashing lights, keeping your attention there fully. That's what it's designed to do, but not for a 13-year-old. That's crazy.
Well, I think they got to be a little careful here because this isn't the first violation. There was a female who left 2 children, 3 and 9, in a vehicle at the parking lot of Wind Creek Casino in Bethlehem. There was a male and female patron who left 2 8-year-old kids in the vehicle at another casino. So, I mean, the security's got to be a little better at these places if you want to keep this stuff up and running. I mean, a 13-year-old on the floor. I mean, that's a lot.
For 6 hours.
I don't think any of this stuff is good, by the way. Let me be very clear.
No.
None of this is good. So you're going to go to the Charles Barkley restaurant.
Yeah, I'll have a meal. I'll let you know how it is.
Okay, report back here. If it's good, maybe we'll meet you there. So we got a couple new listings coming to the market this week. Tim, you want to explain any of this here? You want to have me take the lead? We've got 3 killer properties that are going to be available. I'll lead off with the first one. I'll let you explain the one in Downingtown here in a second. The first new listing we got coming on the market is 111 Harrogate Road in Wynwood. This is in Lower Marion Township in the Penwyn neighborhood. It's a 4-bed, 2 full, 2 half-bath, single-family home. It's 2,120 square feet. It's also got a finished basement. This is a nice-looking place. I mean, it's got central air. Showings start on Friday, and there's going to be an open house on the 15th, which is that Saturday? It is 12.
Yes, it is.
Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m. Amy Q from our team is handling this. This is an incredible opportunity. It's priced at $925. It's got a beautiful side porch. It's got a pretty good sized backyard for that neighborhood. The place is in good shape, off-street parking, pretty well updated. I would go check this out on Saturday if I was you. And if you can't make it on Saturday, Tim can get you in for a private tour. Just click on the link in the comments. That's 111 Harrogate Road in Wynwood, $925 asking price. Showing start Friday, open house Saturday from 1 to 3.
Excellent. That's going to be an incredible listing. That'll be really exciting. Another great one is our friend David Archer. He's got a listing at 813 14th Avenue in Prospect Park in Delaware County there. There's an open house on this Saturday as well from 11 to 1 p.m. This is a 5-bedroom, 2 full bath, 2,100 square foot single family home in Prospect Park. A lot of great, close to a lot of, awesome neighborhoods. You're right in Prospect Park. Folsom's right there, Ridley Park, ton of great areas to walk around in. I mean, the home itself, it's got beautiful hardwood flooring. There's a lot of character. There's a lot of charm. Super open kitchen layout. I mean, there's a lot to love about this house. And a single family at $395 in the area is really great especially for 5 bedrooms and 2 full bath. So excellent opportunity. $395, 813 14th Ave, Prospect Park. There's an open on Saturday the 15th from 11 to 1. And definitely if you want to check it out privately, let me know.
Yeah, and there's also an open on Saturday or Sunday from 11 to 1 on the 16th. So, and I think that shows you kind of the value that's out there in the marketplace. The last new listing we have hitting the market is 23 Carlson Way. It's a 2-bed, 2.5-bath single-family home in Downingtown. This might be like the steal of the week. $325,000 is the asking price. It's 1,588 square feet. Needs a little work. It's being sold as is. There's sales on that street that are 400 north. So, I mean, we're seeing that there's a lot of value there that we've handled as well. It's being sold as is. It's right by the 30 and 322 exchange there. So, I mean, you got a very convenient location in Downingtown, and that's by appointment only. And they're asking $325. It's 23 Carlson Way in Downingtown, and we've got one more open house here. It's at 7019 Piper's Glen. This is a great property. Highly recommend you check this one out. So this is being offered at $650,000. It's located excuse me, right in Mount Airy, right off Germantown Ave. So it's 7019 Piper's Glen, killer location. This is a 3-year-old end unit row home, townhome. It's got 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, finished basement, a roof deck with killer. You don't even feel like you're in the city being on this roof deck because they built their own pergola up there.
That's awesome.
You've got views of nature. You can also pick up a little bit of Center City as well. And this place is meticulous. It's clean. It's got an open floor plan. That's going to be open on Saturday from 12 to 2. And if that doesn't work for you, you can also schedule that by appointment. $650,000 is the asking price there. And again, the link in the comments is where you can schedule a tour for any of these homes. If these open houses don't work, Tim C's can get you in there with no issue. So
a lot of good stuff to look forward to this weekend.
There's a lot going on this weekend. Eagles Sunday night game. None of these conflict with those, obviously. They got some great listings coming to the market. You can check out the light show starting Black Friday. A lot of good stuff happening locally. Any questions, anything you need, we can certainly help you with whatever is going on in the marketplace. So that's all we got for this week. We're gonna take a break. You want to follow Tim? Tim, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. My handle on Instagram is Tim_Sees. That's TIM_SEES. Tim Sees Jr. on Facebook. And it's pretty much where I am at the moment. I could probably broaden my social media account.
Well, we'll stick with one. So you can follow Tim at Tim_Sees on Instagram. You can follow me at Tom Toole 3RD. That's all we got for this week. Check out these listings. Click on the link if you want a tour. And we'll keep you posted about everything happening in the greater Philadelphia area and beyond when it comes to real estate on Toole Time Real Estate Radio on WWDB 860 AM.